Hello bookish people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan and today's video we are starting February's Battle of the Book Boxes. I was not expecting to start this today. I went on my Book of the Month app to see if they posted any hints and there was no hints. There was the February books. So I did see one book and I was like, oh my god, close out the app. I have to start filming so you can get my live reaction to the February picks. So let's get into it. This is a new series that I have started on my channel where I have a Book of the Month subscription. I also have an Aardvark subscription, and every month I go through and I pick a book from each book box and we do Battle of the Book Boxes. There's a whole point system and everything, but I will go through all of that later. Let's go through what the Book of the Month selections are for the month of February. I am so excited. Let's open the app. Okay, like it's good though because the first one I saw I didn't like. So you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, that is the one that was spoiled for me. Okay, it's Blackwood's Blue Sky by Ewan Ivey. The man she loves isn't who she thought he was, but deep in the Alaskan wilds, it may be too late to turn back. I just know this book because when I was doing my February new release video, I came across this and I wasn't interested, but it's a magical realism book, although the cover looks super cool. The next one we have is Penitence by Kristen Koval. Equal parts tragedy, mystery, and coming of age, a propulsive, decades-long tale exploring the impact of forgiveness. That is a contemporary fiction. We have Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson. This is a hopeful multi-generational story about a woman's quest to unravel the family mystery that haunted her for decades. Repeat author. I wonder what else she's had. Okay, ooh, we have First Time Caller by BK Borison. This is a romance book that I did put in my February new releases video because this is when I was definitely interested in reading. The only reason why I'm skeptical of this book is because when I looked it up on Goodreads, it's like 448 pages. If you know me, you know my rule of thumb for romances is do not go over 350 pages. But this one has 448 pages. And like, you just don't need that much pages for a contemporary romance. This one is Fed Up with Romance, So Is Aiden, a love-weary radio host whose world is turned upside down by a charming single mom. Love that. We have a TJ Klune book in here. We have a TJ Klune book in here. Since when is TJ Klune on Book of the Month? And especially as a main pick because he's a well-known author. Usually these well-known authors are add-ons. Oh my god. And it says The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune. Action-packed and uplifting, an uncanny road trip adventure with cosmic reach and characters as warm as a cup of tea. Oh my god. First Time Caller might be having a run for its money. Next we have A Season of Light by Julie Romwana. Yeah? Hopefully I pronounced that right. How far will we go for love? In this fervent, nail-biting family saga, the line between madness and devotion blurs. Ooh. And then we have a Book of the Month exclusive. Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister. After a woman's husband commits an act beyond belief, she is forced into a dizzying game of cat and mouse. This is so hard. There's like 3 of them that I want to read. I want to read the TJ Klune book, I want to read First Time Caller, and I also want to read Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister. So, which one do we choose? That is the question. Okay, I had to pause my camera really quickly because I was like intently staring at my phone like, what am I going to pick? Okay, I think I'm going to pick First Time Caller by BK Borison. Oh my god, it's gonna be so hard for Aardvark to top these February picks once again because Book of the Month is just kind of killing it. So I have made it by Book of the Month, and I also looked at what Book of the Month had for add-ons and I am not tempted, okay? There are some good ones, but I'm not tempted. We're just gonna check out with one book and hit ship my box. First Time Caller by BK Borison. I cannot wait for it to come in the mail and start reading it and also just show off this beautiful, beautiful book on my shelves. So I will see you guys when Aardvark release their picks. It is Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Aardvark just released their picks for February. So let's see what they are. Or at least I think they do because I think the time they are so consistent. They release it on the 1st of every month, 8 a.m. So let's go look. I do have a feeling what the books are going to be based on their like hints that they did on Instagram, especially last night's hints were basically like the covers of the books. But let's see if my suspicions are right. Okay, so we have, is this 5 picks? We have 5 picks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. Let's go through them one by one. Starting with Dead Money by Jacob Kerr. This is a thriller. It's also a debut novel. It's 416 pages. What is this about? Don't call me a fixer. This isn't HBO. In her job as an unofficial problem solver for Silicon Valley's most ruthless venture capitalist, Mackenzie Clyde's gotten used to playing for high stakes, even if none of those tech bro millions she's so good at wrangling ever make it into her pocket. Kind of sounds like Olivia Pope in a way. I love Scandal. Okay, then we have Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. This says early release horror, gothic, historical fiction, and LGBTQIA+. A compulsive feminist reworking of Carmilla, the queer novella that's inspired Dracula. You know, my thing, I don't really love a gothic story. Like, I've read them and I've never, outside of Belladonna, I've never enjoyed a gothic story. Moving on, we have Junie. This one says, this one is by Erin Crosby Eckenstein. This one says a young girl must face a life-altering decision after awakening her sister's ghost, navigating truths about love, friendship, and power as the Civil War looms. And this doesn't really have any tags, but it does have content warnings. Content warnings, I don't like those content warnings. We have Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor. This is a sci-fi, I believe, although it doesn't really have like the little tags like the other ones do. It says, in this exhilarating tale, blah blah blah, a disabled Nigerian American woman pens a wildly successful sci-fi novel, but as her fame rises, she loses control of the narrative. A surprising, cutting, yet heartfelt drama about art and love, identity and connection, and ultimately what makes us human. This is a story unlike anything you've read before. Okay, so this isn't really sci-fi, but she's a sci-fi author. Next we have Flirting with Disaster by Naina Kumar. This one says she needs a divorce from her husband, but a hurricane threatens to dredge up their stormy past in this sizzling romance from bestselling author of Say You'll Be Mine. I am not a big second chance romance person, but the cover is really cute of that one. And lastly, we have Good Girl by Aria Aber. This says an electric debut novel about daughter of Afghan refugees and her year of self-discovery. And a portrait of the artist as a young woman set in Berlin that can't escape its history. Okay, like if we're being totally honest, looking at the pics that are here, I'm not in love. Like there's not really anything that I want to read, and if I wasn't filming a Battle of the Book Box videos, I would most likely skip this month. Let's just go. Since I don't want to read any of them, I'm kind of like, you know, the ones I would read are Flirting with Disaster, Hungerstone, and Dead Money. Those are the kind of the three that I would choose between. But you know what, since I don't really want to read any of them, let's pick Flirting with Disaster because it is a romance, and I picked a romance for my book of the month pick, so we could just do like head-to-head romance, a book box battle, which would be kind of fun. And it's 320 pages, making it the shortest one. It's not that I don't want to read it, like I do love romance and I plan to read a lot in February, but I'm not a second chance romance person. Like, I've only had one book where a second chance romance has worked for me. But, you know, this could be the next one. And the cover is super cute. And that is the only book we're getting. Check out and place order. I have been reading First Time Caller by BK Borison. Let's talk about it. Sorry for the darkness, but I'm actually feeling a migraine coming on, so lights right now are a no-go. But I did want to talk about this because I got it in the mail like 2 days ago, and I'm already on page 150. But before we get into that, I have to show you the bookmark that they sent out this month. It is hysterical, especially given the fact that I got a romance novel in my box. I just think it is so funny. Getting into what this book is about, we have Aiden Valentine, who is a love radio show host. Yes, his name is Aiden Valentine, and he has a love show on a radio station. And then we have Lucy, who is a mechanic. She is a single mother, and she has this really great found family element with her daughter Maya's dad, Grayson, and his partner, and they actually live right next door to each other. So it's just like this really beautiful kind of like non-traditional family that they have that is so cute and so fun. It's just one of the things that I really love about this book, because I love found family in books, so I really love her kind of like non-traditional family in this book. And then we have Aiden, who, like I said, he hosts a radio show that's about love, but he is kind of a grump when it comes to love, and he is emotionally closed off. He doesn't really know how to be vulnerable. And Lucy, she struggles to be vulnerable, but she does it. And when I say struggles, she actually can voice exactly what she's feeling, but she's reluctant to do so, which I think a lot of people are reluctant to be fully vulnerable. So she is reluctant to do so, but she does it so well. She can communicate how she's feeling, and she's just so raw and honest, and that is what attracts Aiden to her, because he is not that way, right? He's kind of emotionally closed off, and it's such a beautiful thing to see someone be so open. And I just love where this is going. We're 150 pages in, and there's like not really much hints of romance yet. Okay, so it's definitely a slow burn romance because there's not much going on in terms of the romance. It kind of feels like a bit fiction. Like, you know, it's headed in the romance direction, but there's not a lot of crumbs of that yet. Okay, it mostly feels like a fiction up until this point. I feel like this is going to be a cute romance. It also has like a lot of emotion in it as well. So I'm really excited to see kind of how it goes on. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying it. I've come to learn that I really enjoy slow burn romances because it just makes it that much special when there's that tension and the yearning. I'm really enjoying it and I can't wait to see how it plays out. I don't think I'm going to get any more reading done today because my head is starting to hurt. I don't remember if I said it or not because honestly this weekend was a blur of migraines. But I don't remember if I said or not. You know, I'm starting to appreciate the slow burn. I am 240 pages into this book. It is 420 pages long. I am not appreciating the slow burn anymore. I'm bored, okay? I'm extremely bored. So if this book could pick up soon, that would be great. Okay, you guys, I finished First Time Caller by BK Borison. This is going to be raw, unfiltered opinions because I finished this book like 2 minutes ago. Let's just go. Star rating, 3 stars. Overall, I thought this was a cute book, but oh my god, I was so bored. I was so bored. Like the last 150 pages, I basically skimmed them. I couldn't keep my attention. Like, you know, like the first like 150 pages was intrigued. I was really enjoying it. After like page 160, I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like, come on, like this story needs to pick up the pace. Like it is so slow, it's crazy. Like they don't even meet till like 85 pages into the book. Okay, these are like the love interests and they don't meet till like 85 pages into the book. Well, you know, come on now. And this book is 420 pages and I was skeptical of that going into this book because I typically like a romance that's under 350 pages. Like I think contemporary romances, like there's no reason they need to be longer than 350 pages. I think the real sweet spot is between 300 and 330 pages. Like the next read for this video at 299 pages, okay? What I'll say about this book that I really did enjoy is I really enjoyed Lucy. I really enjoyed like her found family, like obviously with her daughter, her baby daddy, and his husband. That whole aspect is super cute. Aiden, I didn't really care for him. Like he was okay. Like there was nothing wrong with him, but he was just like meh. He was just a meh book boyfriend. Like he wasn't like OMG top tier book boyfriend, I'm kicking in my feet. Like it wasn't anything like that. I wasn't kicking and swooning. You know, I think the cover is super cute though. I think the concept of this book is really cute, but ultimately it's really boring. Also too, what makes this book really boring is so much of this book takes place of them in the radio station. Obviously, hi, hello, it's about a radio station. Oh, also what makes contemporary romances interesting is when they go out and do things, and they weren't going out and doing anything. So it was a bit boring. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to think of like other contemporary romances I've read recently that I really, really did love and enjoy and that like captured my attention from beginning to end. I'm thinking of Unromance over here. I'm thinking of Make the Season Bright over there. Like those romance books like had things happening. Like, you know what I mean? Like the characters were out and about doing things. They're just sitting here talking. So maybe that's why also it was kind of boring to me. So overall, I'm ending with a 3-star rating. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I wouldn't not recommend it. Like if you like a slow-paced romance, I guess. Okay, you know what this would be perfect for? This would be a good audiobook romance, okay? Like this is a good multitasking romance. Like I'm listening to it and I'm multitasking and cleaning my house at the same time. That's how I would recommend this book to you. I would recommend it as an audiobook. As a physical book, probably not, okay? Unless you have a better attention span than I do. I don't really know. But I'm happy I read it. I don't regret reading it. But it is a 3-star read and I'm really happy it's over. But before we end this clip, let's just add up the points really quick since I rated this 3 stars and Book of the Month did win the best picks for the month. That leaves us at 4 points for Book of the Month and we shall see what this one gets. I have finished Flirting with Disaster by Naina Kumar. I do not have any update clips for you guys, only a review because I read this in one sitting. This book was easy breezy, not emotionally because it was an emotional read, but in terms of length and like readability, it was a bingeable book. Before we get into it, let's talk about the synopsis of what this book is about. Quickly, you are following your main character, Mina. It is a single POV romance. I prefer dual POV. It is a single POV, so you know. In this book, you're following Mina, and she is studying for her bar exam at home. This is kind of like a flashback back in the day, and her parents, she's living at her parents' house who are doing construction to their house, and Nikhil comes to the house because he is one of the construction workers, and she falls in love with him, and they have this kind of relationship. They go to Vegas, they get drunk, they get married, and they live together for about a year, and then something happens. You don't know what, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but they break up, and she ends up going to DC to kind of fulfill her career goals, her career dreams. And there she meets Sheikh, who's kind of a more like on par with her in terms of like career goals and aspirations, and kind of like he's kind of like the perfect boyfriend for her on paper, and they want to get married so that they can run for office together. In order to do that, she needs to finalize her divorce, because even though it's been 7 years, she hasn't finalized her divorce yet. So she goes back to her town of Houston to go see her ex-husband and get him to sign the divorce papers, but she doesn't realize when she's going there that there is a hurricane barreling towards Houston, and she ends up getting trapped in the house with him, and that is where our story starts. So as I was saying, I was skeptical going into this book because I am not a second chance romance girl. I have never met a second chance romance book that I liked until I read Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. I absolutely loved this book. I rated it 5 stars, and it made me rethink my second chance romance, like, you know, my hate for second chance romances. This book made me rethink it. So I was less skeptical going into it. I was going in with an open mind, and this book kind of just like made me realize why I don't love second chance romance books, and that's because they're just sad and depressing. Not that we're comparing everything to this book, but since I brought it up, like this second chance romance is not sad and depressing, okay? This book right here, it's kind of like sad. Like most second chance romances are sad because it's like kind of like you're seeing that person, you're kind of grieving the relationship that you guys had, like figuring out what went wrong. And also, when usually in a second chance romance, you're like, oh, I see why you broke up. Like, maybe you shouldn't get back together again. Like, in this book, Nikhil is not one of my favorite MMCs. I liked him. He was fine, but he's definitely problematic. Like, not in an obvious way. Like, he's not like some toxic masculine man, but like, he is a bit problematic. He doesn't know how to communicate. He stonewalls. And honestly, without them going to therapy or him going to therapy, I do not see how this relationship could last long term. Honestly, I feel like we saw a lot of character growth from our main character Mina in this book, but I didn't see any character growth from Nikhil. Like, I felt like he didn't really have to grow much in this book, which is partially why I didn't like him. It felt like our heroine was kind of doing all the work. Another thing I like about this book is our main character Mina, her career. She is a policy advocate. She lives in DC, and she wants to run for office, and so this book has a lot of politics in it, and I'm personally someone who like loves like politics. Like, I am just really fascinated by it. In this book, our politics kind of aligned with each other, so that is like another reason why I found it interesting, because it had like a subject that I was interested in, and not only that, but our views aligned. So I really loved reading about her career. It added a lot to my enjoyment of the book. Moving on to the rating for this book, I rated it 3.5 stars. I didn't hate it by any means, which means my hate for second chance romance, it's improving. Okay, it started with Make This Season Bright. Now with Flirting with Disaster, I wouldn't call myself a second chance hater anymore, but I am second chance skeptical. So we've downgraded from hater to skeptical. These are probably one of the last times you'll see these books on my channel. The next time you'll see both of these books is going to be my February wrap up, and after that they will potentially be in an unhaul video if I run out of room on my shelves. Outside of those 2 videos, I can't imagine myself bringing these back up again to talk about or even recommend. Not that like they're bad and I anti-recommend them, it's just that there's some better romances that I have read that I would recommend to you. Now that both of the books are read, let's tally up the scores. Starting out, Book of the Month has a 1 point for selections, 3 points for the star rating, giving us 4 points, and Aardvark has 3.5 points for the star rating that I gave the book. Now we just have to tally up the average star rating from their other picks and see who is the winner of the month. They're only a 0.5 point off from each other right now, so honestly, this is going to be a close one. Starting off with Book of the Month, we have Blackwood's Blue Sky that has a 4.02 average rating. Next, we have Penitence, which has a 3.98 average rating. And we have Good Dirt, which has a 4.18 average rating. Next, we have Famous Last Words that has a 4.01 average average rating, but keep in mind that one actually hasn't released yet. I am filming this on February 13th and this one releases February 25th. So that star rating is from people who have like the book of the month copies or people who received ARCs. The Bones Beneath My Skin has a 4.27 average rating and A Season of Light has a 3.27 average rating. Divide that by 6 and that means Book of the Month had a 3.96 average rating. Now we just have to add our 3-star rating and our additional point for having the best selections of the month. And that equals 7.95. So let's see if Aardvark can beat that. Moving on to Aardvark, we have Good Girl with a 3.87 star rating. We have Death of the Author with 4.17 star rating. We have Junie with a 4.34 average rating. We have Dead Money with a 4.18 average rating. And lastly, we have Hungerstone with a 4.10 average rating. Divide that by 5 and we have a 4.13 average rating for all of Aardvark's picks. So this month, Aardvark actually had a higher average star rating for their additional picks versus Book of the Month. We have a 4.13 versus a 3.96. We're gonna take that 3.13, add 3.5 to it for our star rating of the book, and that gives us 7.63. This was a really close month, but in the end, Book of the Month is the winner for the best book box of February. Now, of course, this is subjective. I could have picked a different book. I could have picked the TJ Klune book and absolutely loved it, rated it 5 stars, and this would not be close. I could have picked the Gillian McAllister book and maybe absolutely hated it and rated it 1 star, and then this wouldn't have been close. So, you know, this is very subjective, but based on my star ratings, putting the romance books head to head, this is what I got, and they only have like, what, 0.30 separating them in points, so this one was definitely a lot closer than January. So that is the end of the battle of the book boxes for the month of February. I really enjoyed doing this. I didn't have as much success as last month. Last month, both books were a 4.5 star rating, but I am so excited to see what the March picks are and see. Honestly, I'm rooting for Aardvark to win, okay? Because Book of the Month has won the first 2 months. We need a month where Aardvark wins. That is the end of this battle of the book boxes. I will see you the next one in March, but subscribe down below because before the next one comes out, I have 2 other reading vlogs that are coming up. I have new release romance vlog and a popular romance vlog. So 2 romance vlogs coming out. So subscribe if you want to see those. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!
It was a long time from where we started, day to day. I had these feelings all inside and they would fade away by the seaside.